Is there a viable candidate for the presidency in the 2024 election?
Viable candidate? Just look,
Right.
folks. Just look. Just look and ask yourself, regardless of how old you are, if you fall into the 50-plus range, what has happened in your 50-plus years? I can say that constantly vote for the Democrats ain't worked.
Smoke and mirrors.
Has not worked. Just smoke and mirrors. I've been hearing promises of a better life since I was 18 years old. Back there, voting for Dukakis. This whole concept of things are going to be better. And it has not been. It has not been.
I remember when we were members of the NAACP and we marched down and around the Supreme Court back in the 80s.
Yes.
We drove all the way down there to do this big march. I forgot what it was for.
Thank you very much. I've just been informed, I wish you would hear this please, that so many of us got mistaken when we were estimating the crowd. We didn't see them coming from that side and that side, and the two great crowd counters in Washington who have conducted most marches and who know exactly what this arena will hold, have just told me when we get through bringing that crowd in from there that the number exceeds 125,000. Let's give that a great big hand. Yes, sir. We're on our way. We ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. We ain't gonna let the Supreme Court turn us around. We're not gonna let 4 men in black robes and 1 woman in a black robe do what the Ku Klux Klan couldn't do with white robes. Hallelujah!
America, let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. America, let every man and woman be a man and a woman for all that. America, let's work for that day when black will not be asked to get back, when brown can stick around, when yellow will be mellow, when the red man can get ahead, and when white will be all right. God bless you.
The next speaker needs no long, drawn-out introduction. If I were presenting to this crowd the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, I would simply say, ladies and gentlemen, the Pope. If I were presenting the President of the United States of America, I would say, your President. If I were presenting Batman, I wouldn't have to give all his exploits. I'd just say, meet Batman. If I wanted to talk about Superman, I'd just say, here's Superman. So members of this great crowd, here's our man, Jesse Jackson. Close our day.
Come here, Bishop.
All right.
Hold your hand up.
And it's like, what do you mean?
The reality of it is I've come to the conclusion, I don't know what difference does it make what I vote. What do we vote? We always get the wrong.
What I do is that
we always get the worst.
If nothing else,
like Trump, the only thing is that at least Trump is intellectually viable to confront other nations' leaders. I don't know if Biden is. I don't know if he's suffering from dementia.
Biden. Okay, so here's the thing with Biden, right? So I'm thinking that it would have to be very, very challenging for the Democratic Party overall to find themselves in this situation, and it's why they want the special counsel, physician, whatnot, to rewrite his assessment. Because dude comes out and says, yeah, Biden, like Trump, had classified documents at his home. But unlike Trump, the possibility of getting a criminal prosecution is minimal because the man's mind ain't there.
My team and I conducted a thorough, independent investigation. We identified evidence that the president willfully retained classified materials after the end of his vice presidency when he was a private citizen. This evidence included an audio-recorded conversation during which Mr. Biden told his ghostwriter that he had, quote, just found all the classified stuff downstairs, end quote. When Mr. Biden said this, he was a private citizen speaking to his ghostwriter in his private rental home in Virginia. We also identified other recorded conversations during which Mr. Biden read classified information aloud to his ghostwriter. We did not, however, identify evidence that rose to the level of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Because the evidence fell short of that standard, I declined to recommend criminal charges against Mr. Biden.
A few moments later.
I could not make that determination without assessing the president's state of mind. For that reason, I had to consider the president's memory and overall mental state and how a jury likely would perceive his memory and mental state in a criminal trial. These are the types of issues that prosecutors analyze every day. And because these issues were important to my ultimate decision, I had to include a discussion of them in my report to the Attorney General. The evidence and the president himself put his memory squarely at issue. We interviewed the president and asked him about his recorded statement, quote, I just found all the classified stuff downstairs, end quote. He told us that he didn't remember saying that to his ghostwriter. He also said he didn't remember finding any classified material in his home after his vice presidency. And he didn't remember anything about how classified documents about Afghanistan made their way into his garage. My assessment in the report about the relevance of the president's memory was necessary and accurate and fair. Most importantly, what I wrote is what I believe the evidence shows and what I expect jurors would perceive and believe. I did not sanitize my explanation, nor did I disparage the president unfairly.
Her observes that unlike President Biden, quote, the allegations set forth in the indictment of Mr. Trump, if proven, would clearly establish not only Mr. Trump's willfulness, but also serious aggravating factors. He sets forth these points of difference in detail, quote, most notably after being given multiple chances to return classified documents and avoid prosecution, Trump allegedly did the opposite. According to the indictment, he not only refused to return the documents for months, but he also obstructed justice by enlisting others to destroy evidence and then to lie about it, unquote. He returned only a portion of subpoenaed documents and deliberately withheld the rest. Unlike President Biden, Trump did not alert the National Archives or DOJ of the documents, nor did he turn over all the classified materials in his possession. He did not agree to sit down for a voluntary interview with the special counsel. He never consented to a search of his home. On the contrary, Trump suggested that his attorney hide or destroy evidence requested by the FBI and the grand jury. Trump carefully instructed his aide to move boxes of classified documents to hide them from the FBI. Trump tried to delete incriminating security tape footage from Mar-a-Lago, and he got his attorney to provide a false certification to the FBI saying he had produced all the documents in his possession. He did not. Given that this report is so damning in the contrast between Biden and Trump, it is hard for me to see why our colleagues think that this hearing advances their flailing and embarrassing quest to impeach the President of the United States. What America sees today is evidence of one president who believes in the rule of law and works to protect it, and one who has nothing but contempt for the rule of law and acts solely in pursuit of his own constantly multiplying corrupt schemes. I yield back.
So, in essence, you're saying that someone is mentally incapable of being able to face criminal prosecution because they don't have the mental capacity to understand what it is that they're being charged for or what it is that they're being accused of doing. But yet, same individual is competent enough to run the country. No. You can't tell me that he ain't competent enough to stand trial, but still.
The thing is he'll be 86 years old if he makes it all the way through his next tour as president. That's 86. We talked about Reagan being 77 and being too old, and this dude is 9 years old at 86.
You can see with the body language. The body language and the mannerisms that something's not right. Something's not there. Something's missing. and just for the sake
and I mean, and Trump ain't the youngest cat in the world.
No, he ain't the youngest cat in the world, but he still got it. He still has mental acuity. You know what I'm saying? And
I mean, I have a vested interest in this war ending. I mean, I have a daughter over in the Persian Gulf, so of course, I want that to happen.
And what I would say,
as quickly as possible, and I don't see any viability of either one of them pull it out like I would want. I would want them to just say, y'all do it on your own.
But what I will say about the whole thing with Trump is that having worked in various occupations and positions from 16 years of age to the present day, that being in an environment where I have worked for companies where we have had a CEO that did not make the company financially prosperous, right? And they could be the nicest, greatest individual in the world. Like, they could be like really compassionate and so forth. But at the end of the day, I found myself losing a job or having to be transferred to another company because that company was sold because we were not making the revenue that we needed to make to stay solvent. But you got this great guy. The great guy was in charge. But that means nothing. The United States is a capitalist country. It is a business. It is a business. And as in my work life, I have worked for individuals and I'm not giving any names because I can't say with 100% concrete, factual basis. But within my heart, I know that in my heart, I have worked for, whether it is a CEO, a manager, or director that has been racist. But their mindset is that they wanted to make sure that the company overall was doing well and secure. And as a result of that basis alone, it didn't matter to me how they may have felt about me as an individual. But they knew that me as an individual, they may have an issue with the way that I look, the way that I wear my hair, all of that. But because their mindset was the best for the company, and they realized that I was the best person in that position for the company's sake, everybody won. Everybody won. We didn't have to see each other at the end of the day. We didn't have to have no personal relationship. And so, regardless of what Trump may do and how he may feel, if his mindset is for the betterment of the country and the format and the policies are geared towards that, then by default, then I'm going to benefit from that as well. And even to a greater degree, talking to people that have the same mindset, the viewpoint, especially in our community, is that if we keep voting for the Democrats, we're going to have too many of us within our community and our population that's going to still stay stuck on this mindset of waiting for somebody to give us something. Are we owed reparations? Are we owed things? 100% absolutely. But the aspect and the mindset of sitting back and twiddling our thumbs and waiting on somebody that's promising to give us something that they ain't never gave is ridiculous and has no benefit or value. So even if you know or feel like he's not going to do something as far as Trump do something for us, that alone will galvanize us to say, we already know we vote for this. If this side wins over here, we know that there ain't going to be no handouts. There ain't going to be none of these things. So we got to do it ourselves. And I think I'd rather be on that side than to be around a whole bunch of people that's sitting there like, oh, our gravy train is coming. One day the Democrats are going to come and they're going to free us and they're going to do this and do that. No, they're not. No, they're not. If they wanted to, it would have been done already.
The difference is, and why President Biden will not likely be charged in the same way that Vice President Pence wasn't charged and Trump, who was charged, is that once it was discovered that they inadvertently took documents, Trump resisted returning them and then engaged in a scheme to obstruct the DOJ's efforts to get them back.